right, welcome everyone. ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Friday, the 18th of November. Good to have you aboard. You know what that means. Bad news for all the other podcasts, however you're listening to us. We appreciate you. Like, download, subscribe, rate, do all the good stuff. The algorithm needs you to do it. I don't know what that means, but the algorithm needs you to do all that stuff. And then it means good things for me. I'm going to get all the monies, all right? I'll be very, very wealthy if you wind up doing what the algorithm needs you to do. Appreciate you joining us here as we close out week number 3 of ZASLOW Show 2.0. We've had 3 really solid weeks. I think everyone is enjoying the show. You're all saying really nice things to me. I appreciate that. We got some more sponsors that are coming our way real soon. If you're looking for advertising info, if you want to get in with your boy, you want to get in pretty much on the ground floor. We know title sponsor of the show. Before we even put out our first show, Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Any kind of injury, personal injury you're dealing with, you get into an accident, you call them, I send you to them. 800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine, those are my guys right there, and I love them a long time, all right? They will help you if you need anything. They are the title sponsor of ZASLOW Show 2.0 from day number 1. But if you want to get in still, we're still in the infancy stages of ZASLOW Show 2.0. Like I said, we got a few more sponsors coming aboard real soon. And if you want to get in, you can see my bio. We got email information there on Twitter at ZASLOW Show. You can hit me up there. ZASLOWJ on Instagram. I'm an influencer on Instagram, but I still got time for everybody. Come on. You get at me there, I'll get right back to you. All right. So again, we're closing out week number 3. We're going to get you ready for the weekend. We got a fun show planned for everybody, and I love you a long time, all right? Appreciate everybody who's been with us here these first few weeks. Tell all your friends, tell your mother I say hello. So Jamie Eisenberg, CBS Sports fantasy football expert. He will join us coming up in a little bit. You know, for years, been having Jamie on my show, whatever version of the show, ZASLOW and Joy, ZASLOW and Amber, ZASLOW, Roms and Amber. I love those guys. How about that, by the way? All 3 of them in the last couple weeks, we've had them stop by the show. Amber Wilson last week, who was just killing it on ESPN. She was on yesterday afternoon, filling in the afternoon show. She's incredible. We had Joy on the show a few days ago. Everybody knows she's killing it. She's the star of Speak on FS1. Look, I'm the queen maker, all right? I didn't come up with that label. You did, but you're right. I'm the queen maker. And then you got Romberg, who joined the show yesterday also. Everyone was real happy to hear from Romberg. So if you miss any of the shows this week, look, just wherever you're getting your podcasts, go back, listen to the show, all right? Have a good time. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but go back, listen to all the shows. So we had all of them on this week, and the response has been real good. But anyway, so Jamie Eisenberg, CBS Sports Fantasy Football, he's going to come on the show in a little bit. He'll answer our fantasy football questions. For like the last 10 years, he's been coming on the ZASLOW Show on Thursdays, but now it's Fridays. He joins us on Fridays, so he'll join us coming up. I got a very big week. I'll tell you right quick. I want to get to the Thursday night football from last night, which got week 11 started. Titans, we didn't want the Titans to win, but they did. Titans and Packers last night. Big story coming from there. We'll get to that in a moment. Panthers last night as well. Dolphins are off this week, and the Heat are back in action tonight. You know we got big game or not a big game. It is Friday. Everybody knows what's up. So anyway, I have a really big weekend. First of all, starting tonight, very big soccer night in the ZASLOW household, right? My older son, he plays for Weston Select U14. My son's the goalkeeper, all right? It's the weirdest dichotomy watching the games because I care very much about the team. All the parents care very much about the team. Want to win, obviously, and in order for my son to do something good, he's a goalkeeper. In order for my son to do something good, something terrible has to almost happen. It's a very weird dynamic. I mean, think about that. In order for him to do something good, we have to be on the cusp of something terrible happening. It's a very strange dynamic. But been doing it for a couple years now, so I'm not going to say I'm getting used to it. It's still very strange, but we've been doing it for a few years now. So anyway, tonight, Weston Select U14 boys got a big home game tonight at Weston Regional. So I'm very excited about that, hoping that gets the weekend started off on the right foot. But how about this? My wife My wife is starting tonight. My wife is out of town for the next 8 days. She's going to Italy. My wife is out of town for the next 8 days. She's going with a friend. Zaslow, wait, you're not going with her? Why not? I don't want it. What am I doing in Italy? I don't want to go to Italy. Everything I need is right here in Cooper City. And we all know I run Cooper City. Everything, what's going on over there that I can't do right here? They got the pasta there, I got pasta here. All right? Pizza here. I'll make a pizza tonight. It's no big deal. I'm not going to Europe. There's nothing for me over there. So she's out of town for the next 8 days starting tonight. This is a bachelor pad. All right? Now, granted, I got the kids, but this is a bachelor pad. So, I don't know, if you're driving by Cooper City over the next week and, it's rocking, you know what's up, all right? You come on by, say hello, we'll have a couple drinks. That's what's going on. So, last night, the Titans win. They are now 7-3. They're third. They're technically, tied record-wise with the Dolphins, but they're third in the AFC. That second spot is huge. The first spot's the biggest. You get the bye, and you get home field throughout. But the second spot's huge because that means you're hosting 2 playoff games. And that's where the Dolphins currently sit right now. They have the bye. But Tennessee wins. They're 7-3. I'll tell you, watching Derrick Henry is pretty amazing. Because even in a game like last night, and now I know he threw for a touchdown, so it's like, what do you mean he didn't have a great game? But rushing the football last night, he had the one huge run, but otherwise, it was a lot of small runs. I think at one point, Al Michaels said his biggest run, except for that big one, was 9, Even when Derrick Henry is not having, a huge game rushing, he is so much fun to watch because he just runs over. He runs over his offensive lineman. He runs through his offensive lineman. He's a lot of fun to watch. So the big story of the game last night, though, was the Packers stunk and Aaron Rodgers looks washed. Now, a wise man once said you can't fix old. Aaron Rodgers looks washed. And, he's missing guys. He's missing some of them bad. Are his wide receivers helping him to the fullest extent? Probably not. But it was such a confusing performance, too, from the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, for that matter. How do you come off last week? You're down by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. They beat the Cowboys. Good team. And now this week, the Titans are probably better. But this week, you put up that turd sandwich of a performance against the Titans at home. I know it's a short week, but hell, it's a short week for the road team. You'd rather be at home on the short week. That's weird. You go from such a good performance on Sunday to that we saw last night. So Tennessee wins 27-17, and late in the game, when I say they were booing him, they were booing Aaron Rodgers. It was the final possession, I guess. They were already down by 10. There was a couple minutes left in the game. 4th down, incomplete. They threw it deep. Rodgers threw it deep. I don't know what you're doing on that play. And they were, like Packer fans, so amazing, right? I don't know, maybe they're just maybe it's all encompassing where they're tired of Rodgers' crap, just all the extra stuff from the last couple of years. And he's been bad, and he was bad last night because I was stunned to hear the Lambeau crowd booing him last night. By the way, I was showing my son last night watching the game. How about Lambeau? Just still bleachers, huh? Just still rocking the bleachers. Anyway, so I was surprised hearing all the boos. And they were raining down boos on him. So give this a listen here. This is Aaron Rodgers being asked about the boos after the game.
It's not often you get booed. What's it like hearing those? Not you personally, but as a group.
Interesting. Best I can give you.
Okay, so first of all, my favorite part of it is the reporter who asks him about the booing and then kind of realizes what he just did, where he's asking Aaron Rodgers about the crowd booing him, and then quickly changes up. Not necessarily you individually, booing the team. No. I think they were booing Aaron Rodgers. I'm pretty sure the crowd was booing Aaron Rodgers there. This is Rodgers last year. in Green Bay. Their season essentially ended yesterday. They're now 4-7. And I think the only, he'll be able to pull the Peyton Manning move where he goes to a team that's ready to win and they need a good quarterback, not necessarily great, and see if Rodgers can help them, put them over the top and win a Super Bowl, kind of like Denver. But anyway, so the only question now is, at what point through the season do they give Jordan Love some run? But anyway, that's not my problem. I don't care about that. What I was thinking, though, was, excuse me, the booing Aaron Rodgers. And I've been saying this for years on the show. I started this like 5-6 years ago. Now he's not getting a pass anymore, but I've always thought Aaron Rodgers gets a major pass where he's only won and been to a Super Bowl. A player of his caliber has only been to the Super Bowl one time. He won it, but he's only been to the Super Bowl one time. I mean, we used to kill Peyton Manning for only having won one Super Bowl. At the time, we know he went out, he won his, he won the second. But Peyton Manning went to 4 Super Bowls. Soon too. Peyton Manning went to 4 Super Bowls. He used to get crushed. Rodgers has been there one time, and it was like 12 years ago. I've always thought he's gotten a pass. He doesn't seem to be getting a pass anymore. But it kind of reminds me of Marino's last year here, or last couple years here. And Marino was bad his last year. Just, he could barely move. He just didn't have it. Like, he was old. He really was old. And I can never imagine. It's why I was surprised. Like, I know that crowd at Lambeau, Packers fans, is so great. They all own the team. They all have shares. They're all owners. Every one of them. And I can never, I can't remember an instance where the crowd here in Miami was booing Marino. Can you imagine booing Marino? He never won a Super Bowl. Only went to one. Didn't win it. Can you imagine booing Marino? I can't imagine being in that crowd last night in Lambeau and saying, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to boo Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Don't tell me that they were booing the team and not Rodgers. They're booing Rodgers. They're booing Rodgers for his play. I can't imagine ever booing Marino. And Marino was bad his last year. Loved throwing that duck out pick 6. Loved it. Marino was bad that last year. I can't imagine being in the stadium and saying, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to boo Marino. It's crazy to me. I was pretty surprised at the Packer fan last night. So anyway, I think the big takeaway from last night, you wanted the Titans to lose because of standings, but whatever. The big takeaway, though, is booing Aaron Rodgers and when are they going to go to Jordan Love? So the Panthers last night, Florida Panthers. Love the Panthers. Did not love last night. Panthers lose last night 6-4. They dropped to 9-7-1. Like someone sent me a tweet yesterday. You can tweet to me at ZASLOW SHOW. Because after the first, Panthers down 4-0 after the first period. I tweeted out, I'm not having fun. When does the fun start? I'm not having fun. And, he tweeted to me, is it the coaching? Is it the roster? I think last night was just one of those nights where, the defense last night was not good. The Panthers were getting caught. Bobrovsky got pulled after the first period. He was getting hung out to dry. I can't even get on Bobrovsky for that performance last night. Spencer Knight did a terrific job keeping the Panthers in the game after that. Only gave up 1 goal. It was after the Panthers scored their first goal, made it 4-1 in the second, and shortly after that it became 5-1. But the Panthers came all the way back, 5-2, 5-3, 5-4, gave themselves a chance where they were able to, the comeback was fun, man. They gave themselves a chance there. They pull Spencer Knight to get the extra skater. I got to give a shout out to Brandon Montour. Holy crap, he's been fantastic. This is 3rd year, 2nd full season with the team. And this is the guy that we were trading for. He has been awesome. And he made such a balls play last night. So the Panthers, they pulled the goalie. It's 5-4. They pulled the goalie, and now the Stars have possession. And they try and shoot on the open net from the blue line. It was a really good opportunity. And Montour just stands in front of the goal. takes that puck right in the chest, just stops it. And I so badly wanted them to score after that so that we can talk about how amazing that play from Brandon Montour was. He's the hero for saving the goal right there and sacrificing his body. I will say that about the Panthers' defense this year, and we know they're playing a different style with the new coach, Paul Maurice, especially defensively, but those guys get after it a lot more defensively than they have in the past. Like, one of the big issues for the Panthers, especially in the postseason, their defenders, they don't have guys who are getting in front of the puck, who are taking it in the knee, taking it in the shin, taking it in the chest, just taking one for the team. And I feel like they're doing that a lot more this year. But Brandon Montour, man, shout out. He has been awesome. That was such a cool play last night. And I wish it could have paid off in a potential victory. But they wind up giving up the empty net shortly after that. They lose 6-4. They're down 5-1. They cut it to 5-4. Comeback was fun. Barkov missed the game last night, by the way. He had an illness. Hopefully he's back tomorrow. You got to be back tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to spoil a big game, not a big game for you. Panthers Flames tomorrow. Huberdeau making his return. Could be part of a big game, not a big game. Barkov will play. I mean, he's got to be bleeding out the ears not to play tomorrow against Huberdeau. He's got to get out there. That's going to be fun. You know what? Might go to that game tomorrow. Might go to that tomorrow. Now, I was there a couple nights ago. Yeah, maybe we go tomorrow to see Jonathan Huberdeau. They honored Roberto Luongo last night. Very cool. And Jessica Blaylock gave us a lot on Huberdeau returning tomorrow as well. Jessica was on the show yesterday, so if you missed that, go to the YouTube page. You can check out. I post video of all of the interviews we do, and I also post most of the show on the YouTube page too. YouTube.com/@ZASLOW Show. Really easy for you to remember it. Tell everybody. Okay, so Panthers tomorrow, but they lose last night, 6-4. Frustrating for most of that game, but once the comeback began, yeah. It was a fun comeback. I'll leave it at that. All right. So trying to get that W tomorrow, get 2 more points, and come out of this 5-game homestand. They're 2-2 right now. Come out of this 5-game homestand with a winning homestand. I want to do some NFL here. I want to take a look at some of the NFL games coming up this weekend, and then get to some Dolphins, and then we'll bring Jamie Eisenberg on board here, and we'll do some fantasy football with him. But a few games stand out this weekend as far as the Sunday slate goes. The games certainly that Dolphin fans are keeping an eye on. There's a couple of them, all right? Browns and Bills. Bills 6-3, tied for second in the division. Browns 3-6, and I think this is the Browns' last game without Deshaun Watson. He has started to practice with the team. I think they're off next week, and then he returns week 13. So, anyway. And we know the Dolphins are off this weekend. They have the Texans next week. But Browns and Bills has been moved to Detroit. They're playing the game in Detroit because of the weather. There's just no weather that the Bills are okay playing in this year, huh? It's too hot in Miami. This is unfair. And now it's also unfair when it's going to snow. It's going to snow heavily. Maybe. It's also unfair when it's snowing in our home stadium. Now, I know you could say things like, you know what? It may be heavy storms, it may be heavy snow. You can't, we need all the, our service workers, police, fire, all that. They need to be focused on the people in the community and not at the Bills game. This is not a new occurrence. This is every year in Buffalo. This time of year. They're prepared for this. This is nothing new. The Bills can only play in perfect weather. If it's too hot, complain. If it's too cold, move the game. Too much snow, move the game. Part of football, man, part of football up in the Northeast is playing it in these elements. I think the fans are robbed, where you love turning on a game every now and then, oh man, it's snowing hard by the second half. The field's going to be covered in snow. You love watching that game. So we're getting robbed of that this weekend with Buffalo and Cleveland being moved indoors to Detroit. But the Bills put out a statement yesterday, how they're moving the game because of the potential weather. They're moving it out of an abundance of caution. Let me read you the statement here. All right, hang on a second. Everybody calm down. All right. Due to public safety concerns and out of an abundance of caution, in light of the ongoing weather emergency in Western New York, Sunday's game against the Browns will be moved to Ford Field in Detroit. We're jumping on tape. We're jumping through tables lit on fire. And now we're using an abundance of caution? I mean, the Bills, they need perfect weather. I don't know any other way to put it. It's too cold, can't play. Too hot, we complain. And the fans are the ones who are robbed. Watch, we're going to get pictures on Sunday, and it's going to be perfect weather there. You'll see. It's all going to be for nothing. So that's a bummer that game's getting moved. Jets and Patriots. Jets 6-3, Patriots 5-4. I'm trying to think who we root for as Dolphins fans. Jets are a half game back of the Dolphins. Right now they have the tie break. Best case scenario, last game of the year. Dolphins could even up the tie break situation. I think the Patriots are going to fade. I think both teams are going to fade. But I think if you're a Dolphin fan, I think you want the Jets to win this game. I think you want the Patriots to go away. And with the Jets, even if the Jets tie you in record after this week, you still got the game at the end of the season against them. You could pick up a full game there, and then you have a split with the tiebreak situation. And of course, that makes that game just an incredible amount of fun. Last game of the year could be for a playoff spot, maybe the division. I think the Jets are going to fade anyway. I think if you're a Dolphin fan, you want to get closer to sticking a fork in the Patriots and give them a fifth loss. I think Dolphin fans got to root for the Jets. I'll put up a poll, but I think Dolphin fans got to root for the Jets this weekend. Cowboys and Vikings, great game. Vikings are 8-1, Cowboys 6-3. A lot of pressure on Dak Prescott, I think, to win this week. And Chiefs and Chargers is your Sunday Night Football. So Chargers 5-4, Chiefs 7-2. Like those four games are the games I think that we're all keeping an eye on. If you're a Dolphin fan, you root for the Chargers. You root for the Chargers for a couple reasons. Number one, I think you want the Chargers to sneak back into the playoff picture because a Tua versus Herbert playoff game, the world would explode. The world would turn over on its axis and explode. So I think you're rooting for that. And of course, if the Chiefs lose, then you're sitting in a potential tie for number one. So how about that? So anyway, those are the four games I think that we're really keeping an eye on. As far as the Dolphins go this weekend, I want first of all, Tyreek Hill. I got to say something about Tyreek Hill. I love him, man. He has been an absolute home run. He's been right about everything, in regards to Tua. But how about Tyreek Hill, all right? Not only has he been right about everything in regards to Tua, Tyreek Hill is a great teammate. So, did you notice this from Tyreek Hill? I think it was yesterday. So you got like the Pro Bowl voting. Well, no, it was not for Pro Bowl voting, actually. It was just, there was a tweet sent out by Fox Sports NFL. It was yesterday. The best wide receiver in the NFL right now is blank. And Tyreek Hill, he's at Cheetah. Excuse me. Tyreek Hill just starts responding to the Fox Sports NFL and Fox tweet. Best wide receiver in the NFL right now is, and he writes, Jalen Waddle. And then another one, Trent Sherfield. And then another one, Cedric Wilson. And then another one, River Craycraft. And finally, Mecole Hardman. That's his buddy from Kansas City. That's a good teammate right there. Not only was he putting all of his Dolphin teammates right now, but his former pal in Kansas City. Tyreek Hill, I think when the Dolphins traded for him, you have this impression. He's one of the diva wide receivers. He looks like a diva, He's one of the diva wide receivers. But granted, the Dolphins are having a great year. He's having a career year. All that stuff helps. I'm not blind to that. All that stuff helps attitude-wise. But he has been a home run from on the field, off the field, everything he says about his teammates. And look, it's been a great trade for both teams. Make no mistake about it. These teams made a blockbuster trade in the offseason. and they're first and second in the AFC. The Dolphins have benefited massively from having Tyreek Hill, and Kansas City benefits massively because they're still having a ton of success without him, and they got those Dolphins draft picks. That's the rare home run trade for both teams. Great trade for both teams. So yesterday, if you were listening to the show, we had the Rom Dog on the show. Everyone loved hearing from Romberg. I love that guy. And I asked Romberg, we talked a lot about the Canes. A few things from Romberg. Like, go back and listen. You can go to the YouTube page, youtube.com/@ZASLOW Show. But also, of course, under the ZASLOW Show 2.0 podcast yesterday, we had Romberg on the show. And like, I thought the most notable thing he said about the Hurricanes, and he gave us a lot of behind the scenes on the Hurricanes. I think the most notable thing he said about the Hurricanes was he and his pals, on Out the Huddle, they don't see very many foundational players on this current Hurricanes team right now. You don't see very many guys that you care about them sticking around and being part of the future. Named a couple, but you don't see a lot of guys that are worth keeping around. I had a big indictment on Manny Diaz. He stunk. But anyway, one of the things that we touched on there with Romberg yesterday was Tua, but having a coach, not just like an offensive coach versus a defense coach, or a good coach versus a bad coach. And I don't think Brian Flores was a bad coach. I liked Brian Flores, but one thing that we are noticing is the people skills were not there with Flores. With the players and the coaching staff, the people skills were not there. And I asked Romberg yesterday, coincidentally, about a player, especially someone in Tua's position. Like, would you like a grown man, a professional athlete, to be able to hone his craft no matter what the coach says to you, thinks about you, the way he treats you? Would you like that? Yes. But not everybody's built that way. And I asked him about making a huge difference with some players, and in this case with Tua Tagovailoa, when you have a coach who cares, shows that he cares about you, is crafting the team around you, the offense around you, inspires you, is pumping you up, is lifting you up, which is what he has right now, versus a coach who very clearly does not believe in you and does not treat you well because he's a hard ass. Treats everyone like that. And you don't get the impression that he believes in you. Does that make a difference? Can that make a huge difference? He goes, oh, hell yeah, it makes a huge difference. And I think it's very clear that it's made a major difference with Tua. And that's a failure on Brian Flores to not be able to notice that or acknowledge that while he's the coach. It's like, in order for me to he's not responding to the way that I'm treating him, so in order for me to get the best out of this guy, who is the only way for this franchise to turn the corner, I need to do something different. I need to change things, and he never did. That's been the biggest difference. So I saw this clip, Tua mic'd up last year, Tua mic'd up this year, and I saw this clip yesterday circulating around Twitter. So give this a listen here real quick. It's a small sample size, but I do think it's worth noting because this is a narrative out there, and I think it's a pretty obvious one. So here was Tua. It's just small little bites from last year when he's interacting with Brian Flores.
Yep, come on.
Let's go, baby.
Yep.
Just take it one play at a time.
Yes, sir.
All right? Yep. You're going to get right back in this
Yep,
game.
yep.
All right, one at a time.
Yep.
All right, nice job.
Yep.
Okay, so not a lot of conversation. Yep. Yes, sir. Yep. Like he's the boss. And there's no relationship there. Certainly doesn't seem happy that the coach is around him, even trying to pump him up, which I guess that's his way of pumping him up. Now, listen to this year. Now, this is a little bit lengthier, but it's also lengthier because, yeah, they get along and there's a relationship and they like being around each other. Listen to the difference when Tua is around McDaniel.
Which one do you like? Because I like the one that you think will get us a touchdown. So think about that.
Okay, then I'm gonna go left hash.
All right.
That's
All right. Mystic Mac, what's up, Beast?
Very, very high level, dude.
Yeah, you just got to keep chopping the wood, boss.
Oh, that's the name of the game.
Yep.
But the facts are facts. You're playing at a very high level. That doesn't mean anything for the next time we're on the field, which is what you're talking about.
Yep.
But it's okay to admit that, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not turning the ball over, getting the ball out, I'm making smart decisions.
Mhm.
I can kind of go back and forth probably on some plays. I might have had this. I mean, that's good quarterback.
Thank you, boss. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Some guys need that positive reinforcement, man. I mean, you hear Tua there. It plays like, yes, year number 3. Is he getting better? It gets more used to being a professional NFL. The speed of the game, all that stuff is huge. But some guys need to be coached a certain way. Some guys respond better to the positive than the negative, and that's okay. And Brian Flores never got that, man. He was never willing to adjust to that. And Tua's relationship with Mike McDaniel, I think, plays a major, major role in what's going on this year. I mean, that's a guy who loves it. He loves his coach, and his coach loves him. And McDaniel knew from the get-go when he was on the phone with him on the plane. We all saw the clip. He didn't know him from a hole in the wall at that point. But he knew, hey, I think the best way to get everything I want to get out of this guy is I'm going to build a good relationship with him. And I'm going to let him know that even though right now I don't necessarily believe in him because I never even met him, but I'm going to let him know I believe in him. And that's going to get the best out of him. And guess what it has? I mean, we're in a legitimate spot where Tua could be MVP. He's 1,000% in the conversation. McDaniel could be coach of the year. I mean, if you're talking about coach of the year right now, it's McDaniel and I guess Nick Sirianni, right? Got to be in the mix there. Vrabel, can we talk about Vrabel from last night? I don't think I had a McDaniel. McDaniel, Sirianni, Robert Saleh. But I don't think the Jets are going to hang around. I think those are the guys right now. And then Executive of the Year. Unbelievable, Chris Greer. Executive of the Year. Right now, I'm pretty certain Chris Greer is the front runner with a bullet for Executive of the Year. I think it matters how you're treating Tua. I think it's pretty obvious.